Alrighty guys, in this series we're going to take this cheap Facebook Marketplace Yamaha Exciter long track and see if we can get it trail rideable with little to no parts and money involved. That is going to be the goal of the series. I don't know a lot about the sled. I know it runs on spray. I got it for I think 200 bucks about 6 months ago. So let's dive into it and see how bad it is, and hopefully by the end of the series we can have this thing trail rideable and reliable. Let's get into it. This is a 1 year only long track ST model, similar to like the SX, which was the 93, the high performance model. The 92 is special in itself that it's a factory long track. So the sled hasn't been sitting that long. I purchased it maybe 6 months ago. I heard it run on spray. I'm gonna pump the gas out of it today and just kind of give it a once over and maybe see if it starts running on its own. But we might have to go through the carburetors and do fuel lines. That I don't know. It's in pretty good shape. You guys can see the back. The seat is starting to peel a little bit, but it does have, you know, the extended tunnel there with the long track. Pretty cool looking sled. The hood has a couple cracks in it, but overall it's not bad. Definitely something I want to trail ride a little bit this year. It has fairly current trail stickers. I think they use this thing for ice fishing. Looking at the hood to see if it's on there square at all. I know they put like some little shield up here because they said they had mice getting in the airbox every year, so they made some kind of mesh to go over the incoming air duct. I think it's got 4,700 miles, so not a ton. Throttle pulled freely. The seat, like I said, is fair, still soft. Brakes worked. So let's open the hood and then let's open the gas tank and just see what's in it. Now I got a new fluid extractor. We'll pump out the tank, put fresh gas in it, see if it starts. We'll put it up on a track stand, and then we can always pull the airbox out and go through it a little bit further. I might put a set of brand new plugs in it, things like that. So let's hop into it. It doesn't look like there's a ton of fuel in it, but we're gonna try to extract out what we can. Stick this hose down in there. Nice and stiff, holy Christ. We'll just see what we can extract with this. It should, in theory, drain out the gas for us. Pretty much dry. What I'll do is I'll elevate the rear of the sled so we get all the gas to go to the front, suck the rest of it out, and we should be golden. Seeing as this could be potentially my daily driver, I want to inspect the clutches, drive belt, just kind of anything in general that may leave me on the side of the trail, or even if I'm ditch banging, I don't want to be broke down all the time. So looking at the primary clutch, I was spinning the little rollers here. You can see this one. I'll just zoom in here. Watch as I rotate it around. See how it drops down really bad and comes back? Now I'm assuming that is not good. Weights move freely. These are better, the other two. That one's okay. It's just the one roller is not great. Cam arms move freely. I'm rocking up on the bushing. There's a little bit of play there. If I take it apart, we'll have to inspect the movable sheave bushing on the inside. The secondary's got some float. which is good. Belt is fair. I'll definitely have a spare, you know, in the back pouch at all times. Look down there by the drive shaft output for the speedometer. I don't see anything too scary. Everything looks pretty clean. There's not even a lot of debris down here, which is nice. These side panels fold down. Still has the original foam in it. They had a bolt in here. I believe this is supposed to be a wing nut. And then there's a wing nut right here. And then the whole side panel falls down. Should be the same on both sides. You have that. Still has the original clutch guard with all the specs. There's the carburetors. These have a coolant passage into the carburetor to keep them from icing up. I believe is how that works under extreme cold. It does have the Taurus system. And I do have a surprise possibly for this sled in the future. I have a PSI pipe we could throw on it, a single pipe. Potentially if we want to get rowdy, because these pipes are so heavy stock, it would probably save 25 pounds, I bet, of weight. And wow, what a huge oil jug, and it's full. So there's probably a gallon of oil in there. I looked in the air cleaner snout, didn't really see a lot down in there. You know, I didn't see any like huge debris messes or anything like that. So I'm gonna put fresh gas in it. Maybe give the tank a little bit of air pressure, see if it pumps up. Possibly we have to do fuel line, maybe the pickup lines broke off or something like that, I don't know. And we'll see if we can get it started on its own. The chokes function, but like I said, I don't know, you know, if the carburetors are gummed up. Maybe they are, so we can pull that off. We'll have to take the clutch guard off, the airbox out, and then we can probably get the carbs off after that if we have to go that route. I probably almost, you know, should take them off for preventative maintenance, we'll call it. If I'm gonna put miles on this thing, I should probably make sure the carburetors are in good shape. But, you know, what's the fun of not breaking down? You know, that's all the fun of it. So let's get after the new gas and maybe pull the rope a couple times. I'm gonna tentatively put this side shield back up, put the bolt back in it. We can always take it back out later, and if we have to go into those carburetors. Steering's a little stiff. I got a lot of ski pressure down right now with it being on the track stand. Put this here. I wasn't really getting any fuel flow when I pressurized the tank, and these fuel lines are just rock hard going to the carb. So we're gonna pull the secondary off, pull the airbox out, and get a better visual of what's going on. I did remove the clutch cover ahead of time so you guys didn't see that. I'm gonna get the belt off, and then we'll get a socket for this here bolt. So we should be able to, in theory, one-handed. It's gonna be, there we go. Let's see if I can get this to move back on its own. It might be just enough to work it out of there. There. Take a look at our belt. It's an OEM belt, but it's starting to get some kind of bad spots in it. I'm sure it'll go a while yet. 89Ls, I think I have a couple spares. Primary sheath's just got some oxidation on it. Now we can zip this out, and then we need to take off See that little black plastic thing right there? It looks rectangular. We got to pop that out with a screwdriver. There's two 10 millimeters underneath there. And then we got the clamps on the backside of the carburetor to fight. Well, guys, that bolt was actually really tight. My 1/2-inch impact had a hard time getting off. Here's our bolt with spacer and shims. Gonna want to keep track of that. Now, secondary should slide off. Should be just enough room to get it off. Just gotta get past those fuel lines there. And these cables. There. So there's just enough room to get it past there. There's a series of shims behind there, it looks like. Our secondary clutch here. Looks in fairly good shape. Still springy, so that's good. That is what you want. There. So this little tab here comes out so that you can take two 10 millimeters out up here for the airbox. It's right up in there. And then obviously we gotta take our Phillips heads, I believe, yes, for these boot clamps, the coil, we'll have to take that off. And then I think we can finesse the airbox out. Maybe, yeah, that horn should stay on there. We'll work on finessing it out after we get these two 10 mils out. What I'll do next is I'll turn the handlebars a little bit. We can get the thing out of our way a little bit here. Take these two 10 mils out. But it was a 22 millimeter for the secondary clutch bolt. That fit a lot better. Being Japanese, you know, usually everything is metric. We'll get these two out. Now this other one's a little bit tougher. They are angled, guys, when you take those two 10s out, so kind of got to put a little bit of pressure down so you don't round them off. It's usually not a good time. A lot of people don't know about that little hidden piece of plastic that's on the phasers too. So exciters and phasers use that little cover to hide those two 10 millimeters. The impact gun, a little easier to get in there with that. And an extension. Get that 10 mil out of there. There's one more 10 millimeter right on the other side of the shrouding there. It's another 10 mil hex bolt. Pry these fuel lines off. That carburetor's got some nasty stuff in it. Or on it, I should say. No, it's oxidized pretty bad. I can yank this thing off. There. Ooh. You guys can just feel that. It's just stiff. Not great. There's what your carburetor looks like. It's ATR. Is there any fuel in it? Huh. Seems pretty empty. Probably a good thing. Getting this airbox the rest of the way out, I found that there was 2 Phillips screws basically holding the throttle cable assembly to the airbox. And the screws are right there. What I was gonna do is take the entire console off because you can't get to those screws without taking this off, which is all connected. So I'm like, you know what? There's gotta be an easier way for me to do this. So what I thought of is let's just drill 2 3/8 holes in this console because it's my sled, I don't care. I could really, if I wanted to get particular, I could put rubber plugs in these holes afterward and probably no one would know. But I figured I'd drill access holes. I can reach a screwdriver in. You can see I got the first one out and now I can just take a short screwdriver and get that second Phillips screw out. And then we can wrestle the airbox the rest of the way out. So that's what I'm gonna attempt to do, and that's what I think will work. We'll see if it actually is successful in getting this airbox assembly out. Carburetors are on the bench, and yeah, we can start replacing fuel lines when we get that airbox out. I did disconnect ground to the coil and input signal to the coil, so make sure you do that as well. Let's see if I can wrestle that airbox out. It's definitely moving. After getting those 2 screws out, I just gotta be kind of careful with the oil pump cable and things of that nature. Just gotta look here and see. The oil pump cable comes up there. Just gonna flex this a little bit out of the way. I got to my vice grip, clamping off all the coolant lines. I think she's coming out though. There's got to be a way to do it. I'll be damned. There it is. We can always inspect for mice nests. Yeah, these things are hard as a rock. Stiff. Probably gonna have to get more 3/16 fuel line. I wonder if they must. It's almost like they inject the oil with the fuel. Yeah, that's odd. I think that's how that goes. Huh. That's strange. It's injected with the incoming fuel, the oil pump. There's no actual lines going to the engine or the carburetors. I don't know if that's factory or not. But the line's definitely like split back here. And then it goes up top. You can see it come around. And there's one that goes back. Very, very stiff. But it's not leaking or anything, and it goes to the shutoff valve. The shutoff But the fuel lines are straight kinked straight off over here. Wow. Yeah, I don't like that. So we're probably gonna change that. I may end up taking that console off after all, or at least the seat, so we can get the fuel lines done. Probably gonna have our work cut out for us in this sled, just to get, you know, get the seat off, get that console lifted up and off a little bit. There's no sense in doing the job halfway on this one, because if I just replace these couple lines, well, I can see it's kinked up by their fuel shutoff that they installed, the last person. It's just gonna cause me fuel restriction. I still have the drive clutch with that bad roller. We'll have to eventually get that removed somehow, and then rebuild it, I'm hoping. Finding a used clutch, maybe, you know, maybe it's in better shape, but I doubt it. Probably just put rollers and sliding bushings in it and then send it. But I don't want to let it go without doing at least the rollers and bushings, because that one's going to end up causing catastrophic failure. So let's get at those carburetors and see how bad those are. Ooh. I think I got that one coming loose. Let's see if I can get him loose now. Yep. Wowzers though. They're definitely tight. You can see the rust. I don't know if it's just because there's coolant around there and it got oxidized, or what the heck. But the Taurus system I am deleting, guys, on this. This wire was broke off on the Taurus little plunger, so the connections got removed. Now I don't know if I'll be able to do with that. I think I can get a vice grip on it. Yeah, I don't think so. All right, guys, I got that last screw removed. The inside of the carbs aren't that bad. A little bit of old varnish residue, but the floats aren't stuck. Float needles are moving. Float height looks good. Even. Just gotta get the jets all cleaned out. We'll pull them out and I'll soak the bowl and the jets. Big ass cup thing. It's always a good sign when the things actually come apart. I think we got the pilot jet too. It's a 42.5 pilot. Put all that in there. Like I said, the float height looks pretty good. And these are a little caved in, but not bad. Definitely doable. We'll get our air screw out. See what that's at. Half. Just a half a turn. And go at them. I'm just happy that I don't have to clean like the nastiest of green dust, varnish, bacteria off of these. You know, like the cleaning process is going to be pretty minimal. Just got to get some bowl gaskets. So you know they're clean. We'll get the air screw out of this one, and then pilot screw or pilot jet. Yeah, this one's half turn as well. So we'll have to just remember that. just gotta get the pilot jet out yet. There we go. This one usually never fails. It's an SK screwdriver. You guys can see that one. Let's make sure we got the same 42.5. Yeah, if you guys are looking for a good screwdriver for pilot jets, this is the one that I use. It's SK. It's got a Phillips head on the other end of it, but this bowl gasket too. Oh, not great. But the float all works, so that's good. So yeah. So at least we got all that taken apart. I'll have to find some bowl gaskets, maybe eBay or something. I'll soak all that stuff. Here's that coolant crossover tube that goes with the passages on the carburetor. I'm definitely gonna consider putting that PSI pipe on because, like I said, these weigh like 50 pounds, these pipes, and the PSI is probably 20. So huge difference in weight and just easier to get to. It doesn't take up as much space with all them baffling heat shields and things like that. So we'll probably put that PSI on here, see if it needs to be rejetted or not. But I'm curious, like I said, of what's the teed fuel and oil lines. Is that normal on an exciter? I'm gonna have to do some research. If you guys know, let me know in the comments. And I'd be curious just to see how that all functions. But I gotta lubricate up down there. Typical Pogo stiff steering on Yamaha, get everything lubricated. And then we'll go through the track, see if any of the bearings on the idler wheels need to be replaced. And yeah, that's pretty much it for now. I think it's going to be worthwhile in the end of things. At least we'll have satisfaction that lines are done. I don't want to have a ruptured fuel line if I'm going to actually put miles on this sled. You can see my vice grips are still pinched off. What I'm probably going to do for when it sits, I'm going to put a straight connector between the two lines and just plug them back into each other and then call it good. There's the other side of the exciter. But yeah, the old factory long track. Not a lot of these around. You don't see that many of them. Not necessarily super rare. Hopefully, in the end of things, we can ride it once snow comes. I just wanted to get a head start on it because it's been sitting in my shed for 6 months already since I bought it. And it'll sit another year if I don't get at it now. At least I know what I'm working with. I can do some research on clutch rebuild and getting some other parts and odds and ends that it may need. You guys can see up by the dash here. 46.95 for miles. And the seat's got a couple scuffs and it's starting to peel down the bottom there, but not bad. I do have to tighten up the rear bumper. They had a tow hitch on this thing because I think the guy used it for ice fishing, and it kind of ripped the bolts out of the rear bumper a little bit. So I'm gonna have to do a little repair work there. Maybe me and Mark might have to weld up some aluminum, possibly. But that's a different day's project. It's not really a priority right now. So if you guys enjoyed the Exciter ST video so far and you want to see more parts to it, leave a comment and a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't already. I'll try to get a couple more parts to this series on the Exciter, trying to get it trail ready. I don't know how much I'll record, between now and the next time I get parts for it, but let's hold off, get fuel lines done, and I want to get the carburetors resealed and put back in. At least hear it run, and then we can tackle anything else that it might need. Like I said, the clutch I'm going to do last because I want to make sure the thing runs. It's not going to hurt it to just run it a little bit just to verify operation. And then going through the skid, that can be done after the fact. So that is the focus on the next couple weeks here, and we'll see how it goes. Once again, subscribe if you haven't already, and leave a like and comment if you guys want to see more on the ST long track.